Welcome back to our channel, Soap Fan. Today is a beautiful, drama-filled day to dive deep into the absolute chaos that just erupted in Port Charles. We have so much to unpack, so grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's get right into the madness. The shadows are lengthening in Port Charles, and the walls are rapidly closing in on everyone. We are witnessing a cinematic, high-tension seismic shift in momentum, a terrifying collision of desperate choices, and a ticking clock that is about to blow several lives completely apart. The impossible choices now facing everyone involved have reached the boiling point, and there is absolutely no turning back. I cannot believe they actually did that. I am sitting here typing furiously late at night because my mind is completely blown by what just played out on our screen. Am I the only one who is screaming right now? I mean, I have been watching this show since 2015, and this is easily one of the most unhinged, chaotic, and downright insane sequences of events we have ever witnessed. I'm sorry, but Willow and Nina have officially lost their collective minds, and I am absolutely here for every single messy second of it. I need to get this out of my system, because the sheer panic radiating from these characters is giving me anxiety. Let's just jump right into that preview scene with Willow. Can we talk about this? We see Willow literally scrambling on the floor in her dark house, frantically packing suitcases like a fugitive on the run. She looks absolutely terrified. And, honestly, she should be. She is packing up her things, along with Wiley and Amelia's stuff, preparing to drag her kids out of Port Charles in the dead of night. It is giving me major flashbacks. Remember when they tried this runaway plot with Nell? Yeah, didn't work then either, and it is definitely not going to work for Willow now. But watching her frazzled, horrified expression when she hears someone at the door? Cinematic gold. Because here is the thing. Willow is completely out of time. The clock has officially run out on her twisted little scheme. She has officially run out of the paralytic drug that was keeping Drew Kane in his fake locked-in state. Drew is waking up. He is slowly regaining his mobility, and you just know he is going to be absolutely furious. The wrath of Drew Kane is looming over her, and Willow knows that the second he can fully move and speak, her entire life is over. She is terrified of going to prison, terrified of losing her kids, and terrified of the monster she has become. So what does she do? She turns to Jack Brennan. I mean, of course she does. Brennan is the ultimate fixer, and he actually promised Willow that he would organize a private plane to ship her and the kids out of Port Charles for good. Fake IDs, new lives, the whole 9 yards. Brennan had basically lost all hope of finding that missing black case with the evidence they needed to blackmail Drew, so fleeing was the only option left on the table. It is wild to see a sitting congresswoman resorting to WSB-level escape tactics just to avoid the consequences of drugging her own husband. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, back to the point. The absolute irony of this entire situation is because right as Willow is having a full-blown panic attack and packing her bags, who strolls into the picture? Valentin Cassidy. And what does he have in his hands? The black box? Valentin just casually walks in, offering Brennan a deal. He will hand over the black box if the WSB unfreezes his financial account. I was yelling at the TV. The leverage they need to keep Drew quiet is literally right there. But Brennan is too busy dealing with Valentin to call Willow and tell her to unpack. And that brings us to the phone call. Oh my god, the phone call. Willow frantically calls Nina to tell her that she and the kids are leaving Port Charles forever, and she actually offers Nina a spot to come with them. Nina's reaction is everything. You can literally see her heart shatter and her brain short-circuit at the exact same time. Nina has spent her entire life trying to build a family, and the thought of losing her daughter and her grandchildren again sends her into an absolute spiral. Panics. She completely loses her grip on reality, which leads to the most jaw-dropping moment of the week. Nina Reeves, in a moment of pure, impulsive madness, literally pushes Drew Kane into the Quartermain Lake. She pushed a man in a wheelchair into a lake. I mean, I know some people are loving this villain era for Nina, but personally, I am just sitting here in shock. She actually thought that drowning Drew was the logical solution to stop Willow from leaving town. She attempts to save her daughter by committing straight-up murder. It is so dark, so twisted, and so perfectly soapy. But of course, this is Port Charles, and nobody ever just drowns quietly. Enter Giovanni Palmieri. Gio is slated to save and rescue Drew from the lake, which is just the most inconvenient heroism ever for Nina and Willow. Gio is going to pull Drew out of that water, and now Nina is going to be scrambling to cover up an attempted murder on top of everything. The preview suggests Nina is going to reach out to Brennan for help, covering her tracks, which means Brennan and Nina are going to be way too preoccupied with this wet and wild disaster to remember that Willow is currently at home, packing her life into cardboard boxes. So Willow is entirely alone, in the dark, thinking she still has to flee. And then the door opens. The preview shows someone walking in, and it is Scout Kane. Drew's daughter walks through the door and just says, "Dad, my heart stopped." This is absolutely going to stop Willow dead in her tracks. Scout is clearly there to report the dreadful news of Drew's accident in the lake. Imagine being Willow in that moment. You are packing to kidnap your kids and flee the country, and your stepdaughter walks in to tell you your husband. The guilt, the terror, the sheer panic it is going to break Willow completely. But honestly, Scout is the least of Willow's problems when it comes to getting caught. I keep thinking about who else might walk through that door while Willow is surrounded by... What if Michael Corinthos catches her? If Michael walks in and sees Willow backing up Wiley and Amelia without his knowledge, he would stop her in her tracks. Michael is ruthless when it comes to his kids. If he realizes Willow is trying to skip town, he will destroy her. He would take full custody so fast her head would spin and he wouldn't even blink. I am kind of hoping Michael walks in just for the drama of it all. Or what about Elizabeth Baldwin? Liz is already heavily suspicious of Willow. She has been questioning Willow's weird behavior and her refusal to get Drew advanced communication tools. If Liz decides to drop by the house and sees Willow frantically stuffing clothes into bags, Liz's nurse instincts are going to kick into overdrive. Liz knows what a guilty person looks like, and watching Willow scramble with suitcases would definitely have Liz wondering what kind of shady business the congresswoman is really up to. And then there is Kai Taylor. Kai has been snooping around, and he is exactly the kind of person who would stumble into this mess at the worst possible time. Sure, Kai doesn't have any real authority to stop Willow from leaving, but he has eyes and ears. If Kai catches her, he is going to ask questions. Willow is already a terrible liar when she is stressed, and dealing with an inquisitive outsider while she is literally trying to flee the jurisdiction would be a total disaster. I can already hear Willow's pathetic excuses. If anyone catches her, she's likely going to throw some weak lie about a weekend getaway or a spontaneous family trip. But come on. Who packs for a weekend getaway in the dark, looking over their shoulder like a hunted animal? It is going to seem incredibly shady to whomever she encounters. Her frazzled behavior, the shaking hands, the sheer terror in her eyes, nobody is going to buy the happy family. She is radiating guilt. And the ultimate, agonizing irony of this entire storyline? Willow doesn't even need to leave. The good news for Willow is that she won't actually have to parts unknown, because Brennan is going to score that black case back from Valentin. Brennan will have the leverage to force Drew into silence. But because of the epic lack of communication, Willow is going to expose her own desperation. Even if she unpacks those bags, she is going to land on someone's radar. Her shady moves are finally catching up with her, and I am absolutely living for the fallout. I just can't get over how perfectly this is all coming together. The writers are finally giving us the high-stakes consequences we have been begging for. Drew is waking up angry, Nina is committing crimes of passion, Brennan is playing spy games with Valentin, and Willow is having a total psychological collapse on her living room floor. This is the kind of daytime television that keeps me obsessed year after year. I don't know how Willow is going to talk her way out of this one, but I am going to be glued to my screen watching her try. Will Willow's desperate escape plan ultimately cost her everything, or can Brennan's blackmail save her? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and don't miss a second of the drama.